Welcome to St Anselm's Church in the inner city part of Kennington, a lovely, diverse community. And here is St Anselm's Church. For many years now, we've been saying, how can we make the most of this building? And it's beginning to show signs of wear and tear. It gets cold quite often when the heating breaks down, and we haven't got enough space for all our children. We're blessed with lots of children at Sunday school. And so we've wanted to sort of make the most of this building for quite a few years, and we're now on the cusp of doing it. What you're about to see and hear, I want delivered by the end of 2022. We've got quite a bit of funds already, need a bit more, but we are getting there. And I think this is an important project. What's it about? It's about you. It's about people. At St Anselm's, and I think the church at large, people are important. And they're special, and people need to meet from all walks of life, and in Kennington we have all walks of life. And so in this redeveloped building and site, you'll have all sorts of things in the future. We will have new kitchens with London Cooking Project, healthy eating classes. It's about hospitality and entertainment. We've a partnership with Forward Trust for caring for ex-offenders. We've got our nursery, we've got our Sunday school, and we'll have all sorts of things of people coming in and interacting. It's about that second great commandment we find in the Gospels. Love your neighbour as yourself. That's what this building should shout about. We practice what we preach. But also you need to come in, and there's a beauty of holiness that leads you deeper and to look to that which is beyond, which is God here and beyond. And so you'll see in a moment about the designs we have for this church. They're exciting, and I think I invite you to really get on board. Pray with me, pray with us, that we realise this vision for St Anselm's, the two great commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. But also, don't forget, love your neighbour as yourself. The two speak to each other, and the design of this building and the site is about just that. Come and have a quick look at what you'll see a bit later on in the fly-through. But here is the new model of St Anselm's sitting, just put it together, and you can see in here, and the architects will say a little bit more later on, there's a new screen with doors and an altar, and behind the screen will be rooms for the Sunday school, for our offices, for our partners. And if you look now back of church, there's a big space there that we can utilise, but not lose space for worship. Next time you come in church, I know we're in lockdown now, but next time in church, you'll see some of the pictures that sort of show a little bit about what it's going to be. For example, if I keep bring this one to you, you can see at the back here, there's a new building where Haviland House is at the back of church, where we're going to have some new flats, but on the bottom there's a new community hall right at the back of St Anselm's. And so, what I want to say to you is enjoy the two clips now, which is about your chance to really get a feel for what we want to do. We've prayed about it, we've worked hard, and we want to offer the people the very best so relationships can flourish here, from the most affluent to those who are most in need. They can meet and they can flourish and they can grow. We've been blessed that we've grown as a church over the years, and I think we now need to put a marker in the sand for the next 100 years to make this building sing of God's love. And so enjoy the rest of this clip.
And now we will hear a few words from Patricia on what the interior development means to her.
Hi. I'm Patricia Knight, one of the church wardens at St Anselm's, and have been involved in developing the ideas for the interior of the church. I particularly love the design of the double height doors, which can be a beautiful backdrop when closed, but then can be opened for larger services and events to reveal a dramatic double height space. The design keeps the altar in its current position and the pulpit, but also brings the font to the front. We have spent a lot of time ensuring that the sightlines from the side aisles work so that no one feels that they are in the cheap seats and everyone is included. I think the new font position will work extremely well for larger baptisms, allowing better visibility and everybody to feel involved in welcoming new members to our congregation. The layout allows plenty of space for the choir and servers and a solid backdrop, meaning that the sound is projected forward. With a solid wall stretching to the ceiling, it is important that we have the windows overlooking the church from the upper room. This allows us to continue to see the full volume of the church. It projects light back into the church from the external windows and roof lights and shows the movement of the people in the upper room, emphasizing that the church does not stop at the giant doors but continues beyond.
Here's Suzette talking about what the development means for families.
Hi, I'm Suzette, the Children and Families Minister at St Anselm's. So we're incredibly fortunate to have a huge amount of children in our church community at St Anselm's. And we've tried really hard to do justice to those children. And we've tried to offer them really creative and fun Sunday school activities, as well as toddler groups, regular sessions with the local primary school boys brigade, kind of activities right the way through the week in our church space. It hasn't always been easy because of the way that the church is laid out. Obviously, it doesn't particularly suit the needs of children and young families. And this has been made abundantly clear, particularly during the time of the COVID pandemic. Clearly, one of our biggest weaknesses in the church is the lack of adequate toilets. And that's an obvious issue for wheelchair users, but also for parents who are trying to navigate buggies and change nappies. It would be wonderful to have fantastic toilets particularly, but children's space more generally that's fit for purpose. Until recently, we've been using the nursery space next door, and that's meant that children have had to walk between two buildings, which isn't ideal, particularly when families might arrive late. The tower will make a massive difference. It will have two generous spaces for children's activities, and there'll be a lift, which will obviously make life a lot easier. In normal times, we tend to split the Sunday school into three groups. So we have the creche, we have the 4 to 7, and then we have the 8 to 12s. And the ground floor of the tower would be ideal for creche activities. It'll mean that parents can wheel in buggies easily. And the upper floor for the older children, although we can be pretty flexible. Can't tell you how excited I am at the thought of working with activities with a space that is actually set up particularly to work with children, rather than having to sort of work around what we have, which definitely isn't ideal. Thank you.
Now Miles will talk about plans for the outside at the back of St Anselm's.
Hi, I'm Miles, the Operations Manager for North Lambeth Parish. And as well as the exciting developments inside the church, we're also planning on developing the rear. We've selected a developer, Rocco Homes, to develop flats at the rear of the church to provide us with new ground floor community spaces and a premium, which is money, to replace lost income from Haviland House. The plans echo the 2011 plans for those who've been attending church for that amount of time, in that they're traditional in character and reflect the surrounding streets. The ground floor will also provide about 270 square metres of space. This will allow for a large hall with high ceilings, open to a new courtyard garden. This will have an adjoining semi-open commercial kitchen to cater for community meals, events and celebratory occasions. In conjunction with the space in the tower, it will provide 3 separate spaces for Sunday school and for creche. The commercial kitchen spaces will also house the London Cooking Project, which leases cooking spaces to chefs to cater for outside events, hold cookery classes, run supper clubs and pop-ups. It will also support community projects delivered with its charity partners such as Cook's Force, a project to improve basic cooking skills of residents to enable them to cook meals from scratch on a budget. We would also like to use our links with Archbishop Sumner's School and other local schools to provide classes aimed at encouraging healthy eating. and also potentially run a club aimed at addressing school holiday food poverty. The tower and rear development will allow us to partner with other groups to provide services our community needs and to support our mission. One group who've made an outline commitment to rent space is Forward Trust, who provide abstinence-based recovery services aimed at breaking the cycle of substance misuse and imprisonment, causes which are very dear to a lot of people at St Anselm's. The facilities will also be capable of providing a base for activities that were provided from Centenary Hall, such as Boys Brigade and Girls Association, ballet, and potentially provide a new home for Inter-University, the organisation that raises the expectations of our disadvantaged children and supports them to achieve their goals. Altogether, both developments provide an excellent opportunity not just to improve worship, but also to support our community and further our mission. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Susanna, the other church warden at St Anselm's, and now we'd like to hear from you. Please let us know what you think of the design. How do you see yourself using the redeveloped interior? What parts of it would you prioritise if we can't afford everything? And is there anything practical that we've missed? You can feed comments back through our website or to Angus or Miles. Do let us know what you think.
And so I hope this message of the redeveloped St Anselm's inspires you. Our clip and a clip from the architects about the vision, which is enhancing our worship, making it a space that is beautiful for the next 100 years, so we can worship the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our mind, and do it for everybody, but also be a place where we love our neighbour as ourselves. Absolutely everybody, living out what we preach. Talking of preaching, I'm in the pulpit. The pulpit will stay because it's all about the Word of God, about following in our Lord's footsteps, about being people that share God's love. And this building is about sharing that love. So please give me some feedback. Tell me what you think. I hope you like it. I hope you feel inspired. A little bit more fundraising to do, but please, above all, just keep praying so we leave a legacy for St Anselm's between us all well into the future of a beautiful church serving the people of this parish.